All right. Welcome, everyone, and good morning. Hopefully, you're not too hungry yet, but thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the strategy and governance for your next NFT project. My name is Dian Trabulsy. I am the founder and CEO of Grace May LLC. We are a global investment and advisory firm particularly focused on blockchain, AI, and other frontier technologies. So we provide empowering business strategies as well as funding to the promising Web3 companies. So NFT is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and I can talk about the strategies and governance for it for 3 days. But given the limited time today, we'll just dive in with some high-level overview of it. Obviously, I'm happy to continue the conversations after this session, and I'd love to connect with each of you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down some of the key strategies, and then we're going to walk through some of the key governance for each of the for some successful NFT projects. And then we're going to walk through 3 very successful case studies to help us to digest some of them and see, how these famous projects are actually implementing some of the strategies and governance we talk about. So first, on the strategy perspective, really these 3 areas, the 3 themes that we've seen are most important, and I cannot stress enough how important to make sure you have the key strategies set out correctly from the outset. This is really the foundation for each and every successful NFT if you want to bring it into fruition. So first is the user experience and utility. I think this goes without saying, right? Every NFT should come with an easy, direct, user-friendly experience as well as the utility. And this can come with different format, right? Like utility we've seen is, for example, it can be translated into physical goods. Your NFT will be able to get you access to different perks. Some of them can be restaurants, different venues. And this can translate into, through VR, AR system into metaverse. And how easy and steady and direct those value you can provide to your users decide directly how valuable your NFT project will be. And the second one is called cross-platform compatibility. What it means is that how your NFT will be able to access, trade, and interact with other marketplaces. We've seen NFT can just be so solo by itself, just living on one solo platform. It cannot be translated into cryptocurrency. It cannot, give you other access to different other, marketplaces. But we've also seen NFT that can be traded easily, exchanged to, physical goods. There are pairs of Nike shoes outside. You can cross the different platforms with the ownership of your NFT to get those valuable, experiences. Scalability is something that we stress a lot when we review different projects coming into our pipeline. What it means is that as your NFT is gaining the massive adoptions or your transaction volume is increasing, it won't compromise the user experience or the performance of the NFT itself, right? Essentially, the increasing of the adoption is not going to decrease the performance of the underlying blockchain network for your project. And this is super important. We see so many projects that have huge potential at the outset, at the very initial stage. We see, great user experience, utilities. However, as it's growing and it's, gaining some of the attractions, it doesn't support the scale that's underlying that. So unfortunately, those are the ones that had to fade away, within, a short period of time. And this one doesn't get mentioned a lot, but it's super important as the ESG concept is getting the trend, and I believe it continues to be the trend, which is the environmental considerations. So environmental consideration, meaning that when you design your next NFT project, you should consider the energy consumption as well as the carbon emissions associated with mining and validating the transactions of your NFT, right? This is something the early on projects probably don't consider a lot, and it's becoming more and more important, both from environmental purposes, regulator purposes, as well as users' perspective. And we'll dive in next to talk a little bit about the governance. The governance, for an NFT project is, consists of the foundation of how far your NFT project can go. And this, again, is 3 themes that I've seen and our firm have been seeing for the past couple years as super, super important and most critical. One is the decentralization and community involvement. I think this, everyone agrees, but this goes without saying. It has to be a community-driven, and that, involves how you design your NFT, how you made the decision, and how involve everyone in govern the whole process and the project. It's funny that we sometimes see pitch decks coming our way, and on the front page it says CEO of such NFT project. I guess it's understandable. At first, it's one person of a group of a few people. They are the initiator or the founder of the project. But if you name yourself as CEO or part of the leadership, it come across to the users as this is not pretty community driven. So I think I would just mention, be very, very thoughtful of the words that you're using, whether in your marketing materials or your in your own platform, and how you come across to people and maybe perceived by the users is also critical. And the next one, the legal and regulatory compliance. And this is, I am an attorney based in New York City area for the past decade, and governance is one, my practice area. And I love to talk about this, and I've seen so many founders and entrepreneurs coming to me, more and more of them coming to me these days to talk about this topic. And I'm glad to see that as the trend, because even though this is a new area and it's constantly moving from a regulatory and legal space, it is super important. It is, very, very crucial for the founders to be able to lay out the foundation from a legal and regulatory perspective, how your projects will be built, right? Some of the key areas, IP, you just heard from the previous speaker talking about how important IP is. And I was shocked at how many projects that we've seen on the NFT space. There's no IP agreements between the project and the artists, right? An IP agreement is fundamental in outlining the rights and obligation between the artists and the users or the owners, future owners of the NFT product. IP security law, even though it's debatable which NFT can be security or not, but essentially security law is to provide the protection for the investors. And if at your designing phase, you make sure that you're protecting the rights of the owners of your NFT product. That's great, but no matter how later on they're being determined as security or not, you're covered. Trust and transparency are also very important, and we will see some of them in our case studies. So this one I think everyone knows. If your audience here, knows about CryptoPunks. It's really an inspiration, and I would just point out. As we peel the onion layers of this, right, we can see the scarcity and uniqueness to make this project, have the user experience and utility special. And also, we can see the community-driven, right, from here, which is one of the foundations to set up your governance. And the other case study, I'm sorry, I don't know why the font is a little different here, but this is Decentraland, right? Wow, how users can own, develop, and monetize their virtual land, which is a piece of NFT in this project, shows how engaging the user experience can be in decentralized, right? And then they also governed by DAO, which by itself is a decentralized governance operation, to make sure that the decision making and the development and all that is heard and be implemented from a community perspective. Right, the last case study is the CryptoKitty, right? Like I'm an owner of it too. By itself, it's a fun and engaging game. So that's the user experience there. At the same time, about the trust and transparency that we talk about, right? It sets out the very transparent process that the user can use to breed, to trade, to own a cat, a kitty, as an NFT. So that also increased the trust and fairness of the project itself. So yeah, I think, once we have the details of the strategies and governance of each of one of this, we will be able to see deeper and understand deeper what makes an NFT project more successful. And I wish you have, I've learned a little bit from this presentation. Again, my name is Dian Trabulsy. I look forward to connect with each of you, and thank you so much for being here today.